close that door.
Okay.
3, 2.
Peace, and hey everybody, welcome back to the Divinity Podcast. I am your host, Divinity. Now it is Sunday, and I want to send a shout out to all the dads out there. Happy Father's Day. And I know that sometimes it gets a little hard, but you make it look easy. So this is for you. We salute you, and we want to give you your flowers while you're still here. And to those who are celebrating Father's Day without your fathers because they have transcended, we send you love, we send you comfort, and we want you to continue to carry that torch so that you can put honor amongst men again and do the job that your father did for you. So again, happy Father's Day. Now, this is the season finale, episode 22, entitled To End is to Begin. Now, the reason why I named it that was because sometimes life has a funny way of forcing an end to whatever it is that it knows you need to quit. Okay? And at the time, the ending might seem devastating. It might seem like it is the end of the world, but I want you to look back on that and look where you are now, because in order for that thing to end, something beautiful had to begin. Now, I want you to take this journey with me as you have all other 21 episodes. We started out with the pilot of me just describing what the podcast was going to be about, and I think I lived up to that. Now, Divinity was started because I wanted to let people know that you were not alone when you are starting the journey to yourself, okay? And we want to end this on a positive note, as we always do. And I hope that while on this journey with me, you've picked up some gems along the way, okay? Now, I had the opportunity to sit and listen to every single episode. And I know you're probably like, well, you've done them, so you shouldn't have to listen to them, but I do. You see, I do that because I always try to get better with every episode. And this is a freestyle episode, by the way. Normally, I write out my feelings. I write out what I want to say to you. But I'm here and I'm vulnerable right now because this is new to me, just off the top. But I had to stop. I had to end the writing to begin a freestyle. So, episode 1, the pilot, was telling you who I am as your host, Divinity, okay? What the podcast was going to be about, as I said earlier. And then we got to episode 2, do say, chaka-deuce, okay? And that episode was self-love and self-preservation, okay? And letting you know that what's for you will never miss you. Because if it's yours, it will be yours no matter what. Teaching you what the definition of self-love is and how to preserve that love for yourself. And then you can help others, right? And now in episode 3, shout out to Allen Iverson, the Iverson episode, because we were finding the answers to your truth. And in that episode, I said we go through growing pains when we find out that we were the problem, because all roads always lead back to who? You. Okay? Now, go ahead, go get to the interlude, episode 4. Earl, shout out to DMX, and shout out to my guy for giving me the idea to make it an interlude. Okay? That was the episode where we were going to chill. I wasn't trying to give you the gems, but just so happened it worked out that way anyway, right? Now, in that episode, we talked about unconditional love. It takes some practice to do that. Now, with practice comes perfection. And I think that by now we've gotten to the point where you understand that to love someone unconditionally means to not put conditions on whatever it is that you call the thing you call love. Okay? I love you, but here comes the condition. I need you, but And that's where we need to stop and love people for who they really are. And when they're ready to change, they'll change. Now we get to episode 5. There's just something about V. Shout out to Mr. Carter, because that's when the Carter 5 album came out. And it just so happens that V is the Roman numeral for number 5. And in that episode, I was very open and emotional with you, talking about thoughts of suicide, thoughts of walking on eggshells in your own home, not knowing what monster you were going to face that day, and how to deal with that. So I thank you for letting me be vulnerable and doing those things. And then we get to episode 6. Shout out to the queen, the living legend, MC Light. The episode name is Light Work. Okay. Now that was just, you could take that a lot of ways. Light work as in it's easy. Light work as in you're shining a light and it's working, because when you spread the light, it gets brighter and brighter and brighter and brighter. So however you interpreted that episode, I thank you. And we talked about how hip hop had substance and it made you want to be a person that embodied integrity and honor. Now we get to episode 7, Purgatory. You know, that place in between heaven and hell. And we walked along, we created scenarios to try to get you out of purgatory. I told you to use your imagination. Right? And when we did that, it was a beautiful thing, because you came to understand that when you are an alpha wolf, you can be the alpha wolf that helps someone and not use them for your personal gain, but help them in a sense to make them grow right along with you. Because when you spread knowledge, when you spread love, it's contagious. Now, episode 8, Date 10411. That was our reminiscent episode of dating in the late 80s, early 90s, with before internet and social media, where people actually wrote you a love letter, letting you know how they felt about you. They created mixtapes to let you know that I love you and it's the thing I want to do to ya. Okay? Now, episode 9. Mirror, mirror. That was the episode with me and my baby. We talked about parenting and helping your children and understanding that just like you, they are human too. Listening to them, conversing with them. Get inside your kid's head. Ask them how was their day. Talk to them. Bullying. Shout out to you, baby, because you are a beautiful young king and I love you. And thank you for coming along on this journey with me. Now, episode 10. Hey, shout out to Be Cool. Now, originally, I was trying to get King Noir and Jet Set and Jasmine on the show because, well, who else better to talk about sex and therapy? Okay? Unfortunately, things didn't work out that way, but hopefully season 2, okay? Scheduling conflicts, right? But we got Brunette on the show, hey baby, and Kevin. And we talked about the questions that were submitted. We answered those questions and we talked about the ups and the downs and the uncomfortableness inside of a relationship when you're getting to know your partner, and versus, not saying anything because we can't read minds. Communicate. Episode 11, hey Bubba, big homie loyalty. That episode changed my life. It really did, because around that time, we lost a very special person near and dear to us, but they got to listen to the episode. And I'm so grateful that my short time with that person was very well spent. But we talked about loyalty, and are you your own definition of loyalty to yourself? Because a lot of people scream loyalty, 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 but they have no clue what it means. So where does your allegiance lie? Now, episode 12, mic check, 1 2 1 2. Hey, we was checking ourselves before we wrecked ourselves. Talked about owning up to the things that we do, right? getting ourselves together inside, as we do with every episode. But this one particularly was fun for me because I recorded that on my birthday. And that was a time. Wasn't quite how I imagined it would go, but hey, always forward. Now, episode 13, triskaidekaphobia. And that is the fear of the number 13. Okay, and in that we talked about conquering our fears and how the fear starts in the mind. You create the problem before it even exists. And what you think shall come. So let's try to think positive things, right? We also talked about how Judas betrayed Jesus and how you can have Judases in your life, but you got to recognize who's here to help build the house and who's here to blow it down. Blow it down, break it down, blow it down. And now we're at episode 14. Everyone's been a fool before, because we all have been there. And if you haven't, I'd like to challenge that. And nobody knows it all, but that's how you learn and that's how you grow. That's how you become who you are. And it's okay to be the fool, because we talked about how the most powerful card in a spade game is the Joker, and the Joker is considered a fool too. But you have become quite powerful now, because we're in episode 15, where we are a quarter past fool. You're no longer Boo-Boo the fool. You've grown, and no longer caring about what other people are saying about you or to you, because how are they going to tell you about yourself now that you are powerful? And so what? You are a drug dealer. So what? You are a stripper or were a stripper. So what? You were a call girl. So what? You got high. So what? You were an alcoholic. But who are you now? Powerful. In episode 16, hey, shout out to my pops. Happy Father's Day, Dad. I love you. 16 bricks. We did a brief history on Brick City, where we're from. The history of my father's relationship and his and I relationship. Sorry for the stumble. I'm freestyling, y'all. Bear with me. Okay. And now we get to 17. Okay. One of the 7 deadly sins. And that was the episode where we discussed the difference between jealousy and envy. Okay. Because there is a difference. Thank you for that. My father was also a part of that episode. And I accomplished the goal of mine. I wanted to get 2 episodes done in one sitting, and I was able to do that. So thank you for being there with me through that. Now here's one of my favorite episodes, 18. Just so happens to be my favorite number. Infinitely designed, my ode to Black women across the diaspora, because we are here in the beginning, we are here in the end, and we will be here, and so on and so on and so on. But who are you, ladies? We are powerful. Okay, so much so that they try to mock who we are. We get cornrows, they call it ghetto. But they go and get in and call it boxer braids. But we know who started it. We know who started the long nails and jewelry fingers, all the rings on the fingers. Swag. That's us. We know what we're known for, the big features, the lips, brown buttocks. Okay? We're already born with the stuff that people go and pay for. So love you. Live up to your beauty standards. No one else's. Infinitely designed. Now, episode 19. 1 wrong choice, 9 right places was our way of paying homage to a living legend who is now a billionaire. With a B, billionaire. Sean Jay-Z Carter. We salute you, King. I thank you for being an example of what a businessman or woman should be. Thank you for your service and all the work that you are doing for those who are incarcerated. Thank you. We're giving you your flowers while you're still here too. Happy Father's Day. In episode 20, hey, shout out to my baby sister, Danny. I love you so much, and thank you for doing episode 20 with me, us two versus none of them, because it literally is my sister and I against whoever else they think we are competing with, but we only compete with ourselves because we always want to challenge ourselves to get better. How can I get better with this, sis? How can you get better with this? And she always checking me as I check her in a loving way. So I thank you for doing that episode with me, and thank you for being my best friend in the entire world. I love you so much. Episode 21, Age of Majority. That was my episode dedicated to the youth in ways that we need to heal, us as adults need to heal, so that we can heal our children. No more passing down the cycle of how mommy and daddy was raised, and now I'm going to raise my kids that way. No. Because when you heal a generation of kids, they have healed children who have healed children. And when those healed children are ready to take over the world, nothing can stop them. And again, I'm freestyling y'all, so these little stumbles, y'all deal with me. I ain't tripping over them little rocks, and neither should you. But what can we do for the youth to help them? You want to send them to therapy? Please do. You want to put them in an after-school program? Please do. But make sure that you are present with your child. You see somebody else's kid acting up in the street, approach them in a loving way. Maybe we should start caring about other people's children, being held accountable. Okay? Because if it was my child out in the street, I would hope that a young brother or a young sister would stop him and say, young man, what are you doing? Come on. If you don't know better, I'm going to show you better. It takes a village, y'all. It takes a village. And I truly understand what that means. And now we're here at episode 22. Me and you. And right now, I just want to take my time out and thank you, the loyal listeners who have held on with me. I thank you. I've gone through many changes, personally, publicly. I want to thank my engineer that's sitting with me right now. Thank you. Olivia, I thank you. Because I told this young man the vision that I had for myself, and he believes in it. And I appreciate that. And he's ready for season 2. Oh, you thought I was crazy. You don't know crazy now. But I thank you, everyone, from mom, dad, sister, brother, cousin, aunt, uncle, friend, foe, because they listen too. Thank you for being here on this journey with me. And I decided to take the month of July off because I needed a break. I need to get my mind together. I just need to refresh and then reflect, so that when I come back, because I've been so present, because I've been trying new things, trying new foods, just being in the moment, when we come back for season 2 in August, I'll have an array of topics. Now, I always tell you that this journey has not been the easiest. But what happens when you apply pressure to coal? Diamonds are forever. And life can be a little irritating at times. Okay? But do you know what happens when a clam is irritated by the sand that gets into the shell? Do you know what's created? A pearl. So beautiful things happen when life is disturbed. And that thing that you so wanted to keep going, it had to end, because it had to light that fuel. It had to light that pilot light to get the fire going. And this is my purpose in life. This is why I am here. I know I was born for this. I feel it. I wasn't afforded the opportunity to do it as a little girl because I had to take care of what I had to take care of. But now that I can do it, nobody will stop me. I will keep doing this with every breath, with everything I have, because I know I was born to do it. It's a lot of good people out there in the world, and I just so happen to be one of them. Am I perfect? Absolutely not. So, if you are listening and I've hurt you and I don't know that I've hurt you, I'm sorry. Forgive me, for I know not what I do, because I'm not perfect. And if you are listening, you owe me an apology. I forgive you. I love you. And this thing called life is not easy. But just because I love you doesn't mean that you have to be here. I can love you from afar, just as you love me from afar. And not only are we human, we are flawed. Nobody can get this thing perfect, because if it was perfect, I think it would be boring. When life throws you that curveball, hold that bat a little bit tighter and hit that home. I wanted to curse so bad. But I thank you. And this is the season finale. This is the last episode of season 1. And I took you through episode 1 all the way up to now. So I thank you with all my heart. I thank you with everything that I have in me. I'm kind of like a child in a way who's learning for the first time what life really is. So I thank you for your patience. I thank you for the ability to get behind this mic and do what I do, because I love what I do. And I promise when I come back for season 2, August 4th, be ready, because life gives me lemons. I make lemonade, I add Hennessy to it, and I just rock out. Now, throughout these 22 episodes, my job has been to feed you. Now, how you digest it, that's personal. But as for me and mine, it's always forward. Forward always. Until next time. Peace.